on your Netgear on
you must update all of your Wi-Fi devices.
When
Quad-core processor. And 590 megabits per second upload wireless up to 2.4 gigabits per second. It's the fastest Wi-Fi 6 card available in the market. And we will also use iPhone 11, which also supports Wi-Fi 6 standard. So the total square footage of the house is 5,000 square feet. I will be testing Wi-Fi connection in different corners and floors of the house to see how well Linksys Wi-Fi 6 router performs in terms of Wi-Fi speed and coverage. In this test, we will use fast.com, which is powered by Netflix, to perform internet speed test. And we will also use iPerf 3 performance test. So if you're not familiar with iPerf 3, it is a tool to measure maximum bandwidth on the wireless or wired networks. Also, we will use only 5 GHz channel for best performance results. And we have our MacBook Pro connected to the router by Ethernet and configured as iPerf 3 server. So let's get started. I have 1 gig Verizon Fios connection, and for the first test I have connected a MacBook Pro to the router by Ethernet cable. And using fast.com speed test, we're getting close to 1 gig internet speed, confirming router can handle 1 gig internet speed, which is a good start for this test. Now for the first Wi-Fi speed test, I've placed the laptop with Wi-Fi 6 card installed right next to the router. As you can see, we are connected to 5 GHz Wi-Fi 6 band with speed up to 1.2 gigabits per second, because router only supports 80 MHz channel and does not support 160 MHz channel. And using fast.com speed test, I'm getting 520 megabits per second download and 590 megabits per second upload wireless speed. And using iPerf 3 5-stream test, I'm getting 703 megabits per second bandwidth speed. Now let's run iPerf 3 test on iPhone 11, but we are going to use 5 streams instead of single stream. With iPerf 3 5 streams, we are able to get max bandwidth speed up to 758 megabits per second. Now using fast.com speed test on iPhone 11, we are able to achieve 480 megabits per second download and 210 megabits per second upload wireless speed. Now for the second test, I'm standing 30 feet away from the Wi-Fi 6 router in the basement with a couple of walls between the Wi-Fi router, iPhone and laptop. I have so far good Wi-Fi connection. First using
is powered up and
Where in the where in desktop the primary
home router system mesh So I love it. It really is great for 2 stories, especially if you have a lot of smart home tech like you do here.
in 2019. So now in
is twist.
This last 2 weeks have been a frustrating week.
Anyways, the installer and the customer rep stated that they're not able to do anything until they get permission. And they told me to try to continue to get in touch with my neighbor and to call them back whenever I'm able to. I don't want to waste time waiting, so I contacted another company which has a different take on it. They said that their installers will try to get their best to get to the box, which they know they are legally able to. And as long as there are no dogs, they will hop the fence. And that is what the installer did. So after a couple of hours, they got me connected to cable TV and also a faster internet speed. In my setup before the switch over, I have AT&T Uverse, which is a DSL. And the max in my neighborhood is 70 megabits per second download and 10 upload. I have the main line go to the office room or my studio room, which is located in the front left corner of the house. Now, this is how it was set up before, and to get Wi-Fi in the middle and the rest of the house, I have the first and next garage door opener and my garage Wisecam. My other extender is that the master bedroom. All my footages now are back to 1080p. I still think it has something to do with Ring playing with the firmware. Anyways, I think it is your internet speed in half. With a mesh router system, and depending on how many satellites or beacons you have, it will blanket your home with Wi-Fi, eliminating dead spots. Also, router with range extenders work in my setup. But when setting up a range extender to prevent interference, you need to name the network a different name than your main router. And most of the time, range extenders will cut your internet speed in half. With a mesh system, your main router and the access points will have the same network, and you can easily control and make changes in your network using the app. You will see that the Eero Pro has the status light in the front, and at the back you will see the USB-C port for power, and 2 Ethernet ports that you can use, and also a reset button. As to the beacon, it is a plug-in device, and just plug it in any power outlet, and has a night light at the bottom. During the installation of my cable internet, the installer only had a modem and router combo, which I was expecting only a modem because I told them when I signed up that I have my own router and Wi-Fi Ethernet cable that I'll be connecting to a network switch, which I have the Netgear 8-port gigabit Ethernet switch. I'll plug in the power. Now let's set up the first Eero, and this will act as the main router and gateway. First, we need to download, install, and sign up from the app. Follow the prompts and the app will look for the Eero. When you see the blinking blue LED turn solid, then the Eero is connected. And set a location so it can be identified later on. I'll choose office on this one. Then we need to create a network. Now for a tip. If you name your network the same as your old one and set the same password, then you don't need to reconfigure all your other devices. It will automatically connect to it when the Eeros goes online. From the switch, I'll be connecting my son's and also my computer. I will then use the Ethernet cable that I used before from the switch to another switch in my living room setup, which I'm using the Unify 8-port powered switch, which I'll be connecting my other Eero Pro unit. And also I'll be reconnecting my NVR, UFI, and the Ring alarm. I will have extra Ethernet ports which I will use when testing NVRs or when I hook up the Arlo base station or any device that will need a wired Ethernet connection. As to the beacons, they are easy to set up. Just plug it in and add it on the app. Wait while the app looks for the beacon. Click Run Placement Test. Click Next and set a location of your Eero and wait until it is connected. Now, I'll show you a diagram on how I set up 2 Eero Pros and the 2 beacons to get a perspective of my setup. From the modem, an Ethernet cable goes to the primary Eero Pro and another cable goes out to the first switch, which our wired computers are hooked up, and also another line that goes to another switch in my living room area. This is where my other Eero Pro is connected, together with my NVR, UFI, and the Ring alarm, and any other wired connections that I will do. As to the beacons, they are plugged in, one in the front to help with my Ring floodlight, spotlight cam battery, doorbell, and the 2-can cameras. And on the back, the second beacon to help with my spotlight cam wired, Argus, and the spotlight cam mount. On the Eero app, you will know the status of your network and your Wi-Fi. And you can see that now I have 927 megabits per second download and 36 upload speed. Time to check the speed in my security cameras. Now I'll be ready to review more Wi-Fi cameras and gadgets, and my internet and Wi-Fi should be able to handle it without issues. Any questions, comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if